Hey, Cat, I've got news.
Wait, you have news for me?
Yes, look at this art of a small monster.
It wants to kill me.
What?
Look at that tail. It wants to consume me whole through the rear.
I'm sorry for showing you this.
Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages,
Welcome one and all to what is, quite simply, a roundup of all of the Sunbreak news we have had since the Tokyo Game Show. By which I mean, the Monster Hunter Twitter account has been quite active, sharing little bits and pieces of the development process of the expansion for Monster Hunter Rise. And while I am staying as spoiler-free as possible about the actual new monsters and such, this is a topic I can very much talk about, as much of what has been shared so far is simply the behind the scenes of the process itself.
News? What news?
Well, going in order, after the Tokyo Game Show, there was a survey released to the public, and one of the questions within said survey was whether or not the community would like to see crossplay and cross-save in Monster Hunter. Unfortunately, it has been confirmed that this won't be happening for Rise on PC or for Sunbreak. That said, it was nice of them to tell us that and to be transparent about it at the very least. A little bit more than a week after that, we were introduced to the director of the Sunbreak expansion, Director Suzuki, who told us that he would update us periodically on the creation of the expansion. For anyone wondering, this gentleman has been working on Monster Hunter games since the 4th generation, specifically games that many people quite loved, and so I'd say that we're definitely in good hands here. The next day, some concept art of Malzeno, the new flagship monster for Sunbreak. We assume that he will be an Elder Dragon based on his shape, and this art gives us some nice insight into his general shape as well as the design, and which parts are meant to be emphasized a little bit more than others, at least compared to all of the extra visuals in the announcement trailer that could distract away from this. For example, I have to imagine that tail does something absolutely wicked. It just has too much detail to me to not do something crazy. 2 days after this, it was confirmed that Master Rank quests will be returning in Sunbreak. This was not really a surprise in particular, aside from maybe anyone who thought they might change the name back to G rank like the older games. Nothing else here is unusual, though. They will hit harder than they currently do, and they will have more moves within their moveset as they always have. We love to see it. Later the same day, a tiny little explanation that Sunbreak as a name refers to imagery from the game's story, such as the visual of the sun shining down on the world through the clouds. This specific line makes me wonder how important the sun will be in Sunbreak, what type of role it will play. I mean, from everything that we can tell, Malzeno is definitely a little bit vampire themed as a monster, is he not? Vampires typically in fiction tend to not be a big fan of the sun. I wonder just how much that will all come into play. This one isn't really news, but on October 27th, we got this wonderful Halloween illustration of Malzeno drinking some wine with a couple of bats at a castle, and that's just lovely. I guess he's not necessarily drinking wine, but he is drinking out of a wine glass, so you know, it's probably wine. Really, it's lovely. It's nice to have. Thank you. A couple of days later, it was confirmed that we will be having a new village that isn't Kamura in the expansion, which of course is pretty standard for Monster Hunter games generally, but it's never bad to know for certain that this strange castle-y architecture isn't just outside the south gate of Kamura. November 3rd, Director Suzuki told us that voice recordings for the expansion had recently begun, and then 1 week later, we got some more concept art, this time around for the small monster from that initial announcement trailer, which we still don't know the name of, but now we see it hiding its young within the tail, because why would it not, I guess. A bit more than a week later, we were let in on a little bit behind the scenes picture of some motion capture work being done for Sunbreak, and I always love to see when the Monster Hunter team is releasing anything about their motion capture process. It's always really amazing to see, and honestly, it makes me laugh a little bit because motion capture is funny, okay? Seeing motion capture without knowing that much about motion capture just is funny. And then finally, only but a few days ago, as of the release of this video at least, Director Suzuki made the slight announcement that the team is working on tweaking various player actions, as well as the wall-related actions specifically, more or less, meaning that they are not only going to be adding things to the game for the expansion, they are also going to be messing with the bits and pieces of our movement from base Rise in order to create the experience that they want to have. And honestly, I'm quite excited for that as a prospect, if for no other reason than to know that their vision is specific enough that it requires them to make these changes to accomplish correctly. And that is all of it. Every little bit of Sunbreak related communications that we have received officially from Monster Hunter sources since the last trailer. All of the tiny little bits of drip-fed news to keep our appetites sated for the meantime. I've been Cotton Dinosaur, and this has been the news at whatever time you're watching this pre-recorded program. How are your hype levels feeling for Sunbreak? Are you able to contain yourself? Are you feeling reserved? Or are you all in already, completely salivating at the concept of Sunbreak? Like if you like the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.